In this slide, we are going to talk about strategy and crisis judgment. People judgments are the platform for good strategy and crisis judgments. Team first, strategy second. Bad judgments on people or strategy can lead to crisis. In this, we are going to talk about how Carly Fiorina's inclusion in the company and what are all the other judgments that are led for the HP's downfall. Carly Fiorina was the great person and she was the key person in the industry, and she was recognized as the greatest saleswoman of the year, and she was going in charm with all the places wherever she was going. HP had hired Carly Fiorina as the CEO, and she was the key person who has done the merger with Compaq. But the problem here is the author is telling the team first and the strategy second. Carly Fiorina, she didn't realize how the people are key strength for an organization. What the downfall the author is mentioning is she didn't recognize the key persons. Rather, she fired them and she didn't cope up with those key persons of the company. And that's at the end of the day, she was fired from the company. What the author is trying to say here is the strategy and the key and the crisis judgments are very crucial in any company or any for any leader. But I would like to disagree with the author here, and because as the author has told in this book, how the Bay of Pigs invasion is one of the downfall of the strategic and the crisis judgment. Here I would like to think the other way around and see what has led for the downside or the downfall of the invasion of Cuba, that is Bay of Pigs. I would like to mention one of the famous quote by John F. Kennedy. Forgive your enemies, but never forgive their names. This quote is the best quote that was uttered by John F. Kennedy. I hope this quote would have been uttered after the Bay of Pigs invasion in the year 1961. This this was the invasion led by US government with the support from CIA-led Cuban exiles in order to overthrow the Cuban premier Fidel Castro, and as a result of it they under-evaluated the Cuban army, and as a result of it they had seen the downside and the downfall, or they lost the battle with Cuban premier. This was the great strategy or the great side or the great story for the how the group thinking might have fallen in this case. When this happened, President was telling how stupid am I to get into this situation, because President had all the key components or the key players with him, but what went wrong? It is the group thinking strategy, or it's the crisis judgment. It's the group think but not the strategy or the crisis judgment. Various factors like pressurizing and invulnerability had caused the downfall or the loss in the battle. Invulnerability is one of the key things which I would like to say, because when you think that you will never be beaten by anyone else in the country or in the world, there was the situation arise when the Pearl Harbor situation was taken. During the Pearl Harbor season, the Major General who was the key commander of the Pearl Harbor, he didn't realize that he can be beaten or he will be devastated by the Japanese army. He took it so light and he was telling the people that is the radar or is the flights when the crew members told the Japanese flights are roaming around the Pearl Harbor region. He just commented, "Are they coming here to see the Honolulu?" So he didn't take it serious, and that was the downfall of the Pearl Harbor. So here the strategy or the crisis judgment, it is not with the individuals, rather it was the group thing which had led for the downfall.